Yes, everyone, welcome back to the channel. Let's talk about Jaden Sancho's hopefully imminent return. We'll talk a little bit about what we think he might have been up to over the, however long it is since he last played Ammonia in October last year. It was when he last played. 1-0 win over Ammonia back at Old Trafford. He had a pretty good start to the season. Obviously, we had the goal against Liverpool at Old Trafford. But things took a massive turn. He just didn't look like himself. There was, no selection in the England squad. United went away for the mid-season break. Sancho wasn't part of that. Then videos emerged of him training alone, not by accident, I don't believe. Then Ten Hag came out and said the following: he isn't fit enough to be here. He wasn't in the right fitness state, so he's now on an individual training program. We want him to finish that program and hopefully see him soon. Sometimes there are circumstances, both with mood and with fitness. So where are we now? We've seen photographs of Jaden Sancho recently returning to training, and the one thing we can infer from that is he looks like he's lost a little bit of timber. Before he went, a little bit round in the face. Happens to us all, Jaden. Don't worry about it. But the photographs that have emerged from him in the last few days, if we can see one thing, he looks leaner. And that is a massive positive for a footballer. You want your footballers to be as in shape as humanly possible for them to be. And despite the fact that we've seen photos of him returning to the first team, Ten Hag's had the following to say. He said he's not ready yet. He said they're not available for games, but they are progressing. He was talking about Tuanzebe as well there. He said group training is the next step and he still has a way to go. He says we will know that when he makes progress, he can return in the group for games. Of course, we all hope, because he's a great footballer. He has great skills and he can help us. We have so many games to cover, but we especially need quality players, and he's definitely a quality player who can make the difference, and we are expecting that from him. So, it's been 3 months. Ten Hag, I think, so far has handled this sensationally. There was an issue. Before it got mega out of hand, he's nipped it in the butt, and he's gone and sent him off to Holland. We believe he's had some therapy over there. We know that he's had individual physical and technical training programs. That's all we know. We don't know the extent of those. We don't know the extent of the therapy. I presume there was some sort of depression involved in that. And we know a few people that are quite close to Jaden. And there's not a lot been coming out of that. It's been very tight-lipped across the board. And what I would say from that is, we don't know the reason for why Jaden's in a low mood or potentially depressed. But what none of us are ever going to be able to understand, and this goes for any football transfer, is none of us are able to understand what it must be like to be a £75 million Manchester United signing. None of us. And I can't imagine it's the easiest thing to cope with. He arrived, the guy that brought him here gets fired, you have another guy for 6 months, and then you just had this guy for 6 months. So in the 18 months Jaden Sancho's been here, he's had a different manager every 6 months, and he was only with Ten Hag for 3 months before he goes off on this individual training program. So it's probably fairly normal for him to have gone through some sort of adjustment period in this sort of way. But like we said, it's been 3 months. Do I expect him to feature this weekend, hit the ground running, score a hat-trick and look like he's never missed a day? No, I don't. I think the process of bringing him back in the first team will be as gradual as the progress that he's made off the field. If he's able to turn him around and have him as productive as Marcus has been, Jesus Christ, do we have a player on our hands? And we don't need it, but what a luxury that would have or be to have. We are very over-reliant on Marcus at the moment. Without Marcus, we are in the shit. Imagine we had 2 players capable of doing that, and we do. And also, Anthony needs, I don't know if I'd say he needs a break, or if he needs the challenge of competition, or if he needs an adjustment period for settling into United. But Anthony needs something as well. There would be no better time, as far as I'm concerned, for Jaden Sancho to start coming into the team, because the pressure isn't on him, as far as I'm concerned. And I hope most fans are the same. We all just want to see Jaden succeed. We know that there's an unbelievable footballer in there, and the way Ten Hag has taken him out of the limelight. This is Manchester United, remember. This could have gone so west. He's taken him out of the limelight. He sent him to get the help that he needs. If he comes back and puts in a performance anything like the player that we signed from Dortmund, oh my good God. I actually think he'll probably end up delivering us over the line for trophies. At least one. So, like we said, 3 months off. Like Anthony, we think he's probably struggling, although he's got 5 goals in 20 games. The price tag's not helped Anthony, I don't think, but a Sancho return could really help Anthony. And because you've got Anthony as well, the pressure for Sancho to play 90 minutes twice a week isn't there. But with Sancho fully fit, which I think will probably take 6 to 8 weeks to get him up to full speed, you've got 4 wingers for 2 places. And you're starting to build some squad depth. Garnacho and Marcus on the left, Sancho and Anthony on the right. And actually a couple of those could probably play in left or right as well. You're starting to get some depth. If we keep holding a horse and we had a Vlahovic or someone like that as our first choice, now you've got 6 really good players for those 3 starting positions, and I think that would be a magnificent one. I don't think we would need to be going into the market to try and buy any more wide players if we can get Sancho back firing. He's got 8 goals, 4 assists so far in 52 United games. As a quick reminder, in 137 Dortmund games, he got 50 goals and 64 assists. This is the player that we're wanting to get back. Notch says, I think Ten Hag will work on Anthony. He seems to manage accordingly with individuals. I agree. What just happened there? Oh, my chat was colourful. Everyone's name was a different colour and now it's all the same. That's a nightmare. Miko says, word is that Wan-Bissaka was sent on the same sort of programme as Jadon. It's pretty effective for Wan-Bissaka. Let's hope it's the same for Jadon. Mood Swing Gaming says, I think that Ron was giving Rashford, Sancho and Jesse a hard time. Granted, Jesse was a clown after matches, but Rashi's proven a point since he left, and Ron did make comments about the young. I don't know if Ronaldo was talking about those guys or the ones younger than those. I don't know. But yeah, you might have a point. Jedi says, hopefully the competition on the right can get the best out of Sancho and Anthony. Am I still doing a Q&A on Patreon? Yes, recording it tonight. So if you've not put your question in on Patreon yet, there's still time for that. MK655 says, they haven't made it to Old Trafford this season, but have our pre-match warm-ups become better under Ollie and Ragnick? They're all shooting drills. Yeah, we still do a bit of a long-range shot, which I don't really like, but there's a lot more intricate play, and actually the long-range shooting that we do, it's opposed. There is a coach in there trying to get a bit handsy with the players. So it's a little bit more realistic than just shooting from 30 yard like we used to do, which used to piss me off. You don't see that at under 7s. It's fucking ridiculous. Aslam says there's a slot on the right up for grabs. Hope he takes it. So much potential. Hopefully he can get back to his Dortmund form. Long-term signing. That's it. It's a long contract. It was a long-term investment for him. You might as well just take your time and get him sorted out. Brian says it'd be interesting to see if Sancho and Vegas can link up now he's back. We all know that Jason is capable of with a lanky poacher in the box. That's true. I mean, imagine Vegas does 1 in 2. Just say he plays 25 games, end up with 12 goals. Can you imagine? Can you imagine? If let's have this, yeah. 10 goals from Vegas this season. Would you consider that an outstanding return for a player that scored 2 for Burnley an entire season? Yes or no? Would that be or if yes or no, 10 goals, do you think he'll get it, and do you think that's a big success? Otherwise, how many goals do you think Vegas is going to end up with? Let me know in the comments. A11 says, if Sancho is back in form just like Rashford is, we'll be unstoppable. I'm sure Ten Hag will get him back just like he did with the other players. His man management seems pretty good, doesn't it, so far? The only person that he's had a major drama with is Ronaldo. I'm a bit annoyed that Piers Morgan's blocked me because I keep seeing screenshots of Piers Morgan tweets trying to slag everyone off, apparently. And he's talking about Ronaldo. Let me just pull this one up. Last time I checked, Cristiano just signed the biggest transfer deal in football history to become the world's highest paid athlete at the age of 38. playing in the only country to beat world champions Argentina in the World Cup. That's my kind of finished. Piers Morgan rim jobs. Best in the business. Honestly. Was Piers Morgan piping people off like this when they were going to China for the payday? I guarantee not. What a fucking absolute throbber. IR says, do I think Sancho will be playing a different position when he returns? Maybe that's why he's gone individual training. My theory is Ten Hag will try Bruno in the Tadic role with Sancho at the 10. Sancho could play in the 10, definitely. He's got the vision and the ability to do it. But no, I think he'll be a right winger. A lot of people thinking Weghorst could get 10. Paul Jones says, if Vega gets 10, it's a massive success. Hitting that like button like he owes me money, says Hamzawi. Everyone hit the like button for that one. I think that's about right. Notch says, I think he'll get 10, but I'll be happy with around 8 if goals continue to come from elsewhere. Ed says 5 goals is a success for Weghorst. Interesting. Box says, why is it that Phil Jones is still at the club? What's the bet he gets offered a new contract? I can't see it. And there's got to be more. There's got to be more than meets the eye with Phil Jones. There's been zero effort, at least on the surface, for him to leave Manchester United. He isn't in the first team dressing room anymore. He is a part of the under-23s, although he doesn't. I haven't seen any photographs of him training. I have no idea what the fuck is going on with him. I will try and inquire and find out, but his contract, I believe, is up. There is an option for a +1. I swear to God, if someone activates that, they're off their fucking nut. I expect he just leaves in the summer and probably retires. I have no idea what he's going to do. Phil Jones. Retire, yes. Retire, no. What do you reckon? Yes or no? Is Phil Jones going to retire after summer when he hopefully leaves United? MK655 says, if Sancho comes back firing, do you reckon we could franchise out his training program? If Sancho comes back and hits even 70% of the way to what Rashford's been doing lately, I think it's time to just start calling Ten Hag the greatest fucking manager, because it's absolutely ridiculous. A lot of retires. One no. Alexander says no. Oh, a few say no. A few of you, all right. Everybody saying no. Where's he going to go play? Join Rooney in DC, says Julio. He should go to the Championship. I don't think he's ready for the Championship after so long out. I think it breaks him. Mood Swing says, I think Jones has been affected mentally by fans and opposition fans, and United feel responsible, so they're seeing him through recovery. Might be a point on that. Is there a duty of care to players like that? I guess. MLS Championship, should sign for Barcelona. It's not the worst signing Barcelona could make, in all honesty. Ed says Paddock. I think I've said too much. I don't think he'll be coming to Paddock. Rob says Everton in the Championship. IR says Phil Jones to join Chris Smalling at Roma. Make it happen. Blackburn. Diogo says, wait, what's happening? Don't worry about it. Oka says he'll play at Paddock. He won't. I don't think he would. Murtaza says he'll go Al Nassr. Well, Al Nassr are talking up signing a lot of players, aren't they? A lot of players. Mohammed says Anthony needs to be more adventurous. Marshall will do better if given a chance. If Phil Jones scores in his testimonial, we should trigger a 1-year extension. Do you know what? I think he should get a testimonial, right? I'm not against him getting a testimonial, but I would be against him getting a new year. That's mental. I mean, since when did he sign a contract extension? I'm assuming 4 years ago. So I'm going to look. 2019, Phil Jones. Helps if I click in a box, doesn't it? Phil Jones, 2019 extension. In February 2019, almost 4 years to the day, Phil Jones signed a 4-year extension with the option of a 5th at the club. So that obviously finishes this summer. Let's have a look how many games he's actually played in that 4 years. So he has played 13 games. He actually scored. He's played 13 games in 4 years. Come on, man. Come on, man. 13 games since he signed that extension. Hamzawi says, Ollie is such a knob for signing Jones' extension. Listen, the caretaker manager at the time would not have been the one that authorised that. That is 1000% a Woodward and Glazer thing because of the way that they treat contracts. They don't treat them as the liabilities that they 100% are. They treat them as something that has value associated with them. Therefore, it goes on a secret little shelf in the accounting and means that the club is worth more money. It's mental. Has he ever wore the captain's armband? He might have done, you know. Bojan says, if Vegas is available for 5 to 10 million this summer, should we sign him? What's crazy is we could shoot ourselves in the foot, couldn't we? I don't know the contract situation with Vegas at Burnley, but if Burnley get promoted to the Premier League, now he's a Premier League player, now he's worth more. Are you going to get him for a reasonable price if he smashes it for the next 4 months while at United? You're probably going to get your arse handed to you. Does Phil Jones get medals if we win any trophies this season? He's not registered, so I'd assume probably not. T. Ragnar says, Weghorst ain't the one, for fuck's sake. Why not? Right? No one's saying he should lead the line for Manchester United permanently. We got what we got because he was available, so we got that guy to send us to summer. Now, if, like I said earlier, if we went and signed a Vlahovic, would be having Weghorst as the backup striker be such a bad thing? I don't think so. He tripped over the captain's armbands and got injured, says Nikhil. Richard says, horrible thing is if we tried to pay out his contract, he'd probably just say no and sit there to get paid to do nothing. Rob says, Horse is a good squad player for sure. Joe says, remember that tweet from Piers Morgan saying Messi is the greatest footballer and there's no other conversation? Do you remember the headlines with him saying Ronaldo's a slapped ass, why cheer him? And he couldn't wait to fucking lick his ass, could he? Honestly, Piers Morgan is a reprehensible human being. Fuck me. For anyone who's a veteran, we have our own reasons. For anyone who's a fucking human being, there's plenty of reasons why he's a fucking horror bag. Abhinav says if we spend money on prosthetic legs for Martial, that would work. Jones to Chelsea, we could get 30 million for him. I found out today Todd Boehly's on Twitter and active. I think we should try and get Phil Jones to Chelsea. It's what he would have wanted, right? Says he's just called the Horse now. Correct. MK says, does Phil Jones even turn up to Carrington on a daily or even a weekly? Are we just paying him to come and use our gym? I mean, that's a pretty good gym membership, isn't it? Can we all get one? I'm going to try and inquire as to what the fuck is going on with Phil Jones. Does he turn up? Does he not turn up? Like, we can't be paying him 80 grand a week just to go to fucking Disneyland, can we? Come on, man. Hamzawi says, Zidane Iqbal needs to play in that game versus Nottingham. I agree. Dexter says Osimhen, Kane or Vlahovic, pick one for next season. Osimhen, then Vlahovic, then Kane. Richard says, did I see the comments Ralph made about 3 players being toxic in the dressing room? Pogba, Cavani, Marshall. Did he name those 3 or is that you guessing? Toasted says, would I bring Brennan Johnson to United? Still young, but looks like he's a bag. I thought Brennan Johnson and Gibbs White really give us a hard time yesterday. Don't know if they work as United players, but I thought they played really well. Notch says, I await Jones's autobiography. Just doesn't strike me as someone who's got lyrical prose. Varane Chant says, I've got this idea for a Varane Chant. Interesting username. Sung to the tune of K Sarah Sarah. Where should I contact you, Stephen? Here's an idea. Don't. I'm not going to acknowledge anyone that sends me chants. Sorry. It's not my thing. Good for you. Try and get it going in the ground yourself. I am not doing that. Pretend West Ham want Jones for 30 million, says Yundus. Sean says he said those 3 players were mood killers. Cavani I can understand because he properly seen his ass with the way he's been treated, and it's disappointing that he was like that. Ronaldo, yeah, I can get, because he's clearly fucking deluded and still thinks he's the best player in the world. Because he's got pricks like Piers Morgan surrounding him and no one telling him straight. You need to fucking move more. Can I give my absolute opinion on Martial? I don't trust him. I don't trust him to stay injury-free. I don't trust him to lead the line. I don't trust him to be consistently good enough. I think he's a talented player. Often misunderstood because he's got, resting bitch face, but doesn't bother me that. If he's putting the ball in the back of net, I wouldn't give a fuck what his face looks like. I just don't trust him, and I would absolutely replace him. Pinko says, how's the fizz going? It's going well. I had to miss today. I got a problem with my car. I've had a wheel bearing go in my car, which sounds like I am dragging a skip. So I had to go and drop my car off at the garage this morning. So I missed the gym today, and I'll be missing the gym tomorrow because I got to use public transport to get in and then get home. So today and tomorrow I'll be off the gym. I'm going to try and do something at home. I have just got an ice bath, a Lumipod, right? The other day I got in it for the grand total of 7 seconds, give or take. It was fucking well cold. You're like, oh, really? An ice bath in the garden? Was it really? Yeah, it was. I didn't quite fill it up enough. So I filled it up to like it's mid-thigh sort of level, and I got to my knees, so it came up to like mid-belly kind of level, but it was so fucking cold, my entire body just went rigid, and I couldn't like bend down to get my shoulders in. So I think I need to fill it up enough where I can just kind of plop down on my arse and get it up over my shoulders. So I've got to go in it up to my neck. That's the move. I can't do it yet. I'm too much of a shitbag. So let me get it done. I'm going to do it tonight, though. I'm going to have a word with myself, have a little one-to-one in the mirror, call myself a bitch, and then go get in it. That's what we got to do. Bit of self-talk. Fergal says, in the last 10 years, 7 of the winners of the League Cup won another trophy the same year. In 2 out of 3 times that didn't happen, United won the league, FA or the FA Cup. The remaining year was COVID. Oh, that didn't happen. United won the FA Cup or league. Okay. Apparently 3,000 likes and Steve sings the Varane chant. I don't know who wrote that one. Andrew says, in 1999 we had Cole, York, Sheringham and Solskjaer. There's space for someone in Weghorst's profile in the squad. He's looked okay so far and different to everyone. Totally agree. Do I think Zaynolo would be a good loan to buy option? I would have to go watch him. I haven't extensively watched him to say. Nova says, you're like the bloke drinking gin and tonics at the pub, but you turn out to be a legend and love getting on the bags. That's a lie. Thoughts on the Barca game? The Barca game, I think, is going to be an interesting one. My gut feeling is we lose. My gut feeling is Barcelona are playing some really, really good football. And I think we still just lack a bit of X factor about us at the moment. Box says, have I asked Rio about Jones? Not recently, but I will ask him next time I see him. Raf says, check out Honigstein's article on Weghorst a couple of years ago. Sums him up what he's about. Absolute gunman and top human being. Love that. Freddie says, funny thing about Phil Jones, played less times but won more medals than Shearer and Kane put together. Would I want Todd as our new owner? No. Lose both games or overall? I think just overall. We probably end up with 1 win out of them, but maybe not enough. Rodney says, Juventus will have a fire sale in the summer. Chiesa are apparently available for 17 million. We should get Vlahovic ASAP. That's 2 good players that you could get out of them now. We did do a video on Juventus and what's going on with them recently. Should Zidane not be going out on loan? I thought he was. I don't think his club's been confirmed yet. Bojan says, ice baths are the best. Do it in intervals, 30 seconds at best, then increase. The plan is I need to do 11 minutes a week. So I was going to try and split that into 3-minute sessions over 4 times a week. I did better than Janine did. Janine she didn't even get into the garden. She opened the door and went, that's too fucking cold. I'm not doing that. Who do I want United to sign in the summer? Well, stay tuned for that. We'll be definitely doing shortlists as we get closer to it. Colin says, the criticism for Weghorst is idiotic. He's a stopgap and nothing more. We will upgrade in the summer. Exactly. And I think if he ends up being our backup, I think we're doing happy days. Pog back. Pog no. Big Wang says, am I mad for thinking Palestri is better than Anthony? I wouldn't say mad. I think just premature. I thought Palestri looked really bright the other night, but not bright enough necessarily to say, oh my God, he has to start now in front of Anthony. I would say he's done enough to get maybe 20 minutes next week. How long is one ice bath session on average? I think it totally depends on the individual. But yeah, supposedly the benefits of doing it are 11. The benefits kick in after 11 minutes. And they're meant to be massively a dopamine boost as well. But on the IRL channel, which I think is just about to hit 3,000 subscribers. So thank you to everyone. And if you've not seen the video on there, please go check that out. There is another video coming soon. It's another military video. It's from a visit to a military base that I did recently. So definitely check that out. None of you have seen any of that yet because you haven't posted any of that footage. It has to be cleared by the MOD. But check that one out. And then I'll be doing stuff about Whoop. So if anyone wants to know about the Whoop, some of the fitness stuff that we use, like my Garmin watch and things like that, all of that's going to be coming on the IRL channel. So definitely come and check that one out. And that's all a good one. B. Hugh says, can't you just go outside while the air is cold? No, for it to really, really work, it has to make all the blood leave your extremities, come into your organs, and then replenish. That's the whole move. It does that by air temperature if you go into those like cryogenic ones. So the air's like minus 150 and stuff, and just like a couple of minutes in there replicates what being in cold water submerged does. Do I think Elanga is getting a bit more criticism than he deserves? No. I just don't think he's United quality. Ahmed says, can Sancho fill Bruno's bills as a centre mid playing on the wings like Bruno does? I think so. Any military jokes that you've heard that you can actually repeat? Probably not. If say Whoop 5 times in a mirror, Pogba comes back. I think they just signed a deal, sadly, Whoop, with Virgil van Dijk. Jed says you need to be careful about cold shock syndrome. I don't know what that is, but I'll Google it. Vegas link-up play is excellent for a giant and his tireless work rate is refreshing. I think that's literally, that right there is what's on the tin of why we signed him. And Toe says Weghorst's ability to see the simple passes coming short to progress players is worth his inclusion alone. Best places or areas to stay in Manchester for a first trip? See, I get asked this quite a lot, and people also ask me, like, where do I get tickets for United games? I've had a season ticket for so long, I have no idea where you get tickets. Not me, is the answer. And as for, like, where to stay in Manchester, again, I don't stay in Manchester. I've never visited my own city as a tourist, so asking people who've been to Manchester as a tourist might be a better option. I could tell you where not to stay. Like, I'd avoid Cheetham Hill at all costs. There's places where I wouldn't go. But yeah, I think asking someone who's been here as a tourist rather than, like, do you know, sometimes you don't see the wood for the trees. I think living here, working in the city centre every day, like, we don't have a fucking clue what's going on. Mad, innit? I could tell you where to avoid, but not necessarily the best places to go. Jed says, I'm not sure what it's called, but basically the sudden change in temperature can cause your body to shut down. I don't think it's a massive... If you can stay in for too long, yeah, absolutely, but I don't think there's anything like that going to happen. One of the comments here says, I only buy my United tickets from United's official site. That would be the advice I give you. Avoid touts. Raf says, how the hell is 27-year-old Marshall more injury prone than 35-year-old Cavani last season? He had the opportunity, didn't he? He had the opportunity. Bielsa's currently interviewing with Everton. That's an interesting appointment, isn't it? That is a very interesting appointment. I was trying to put a list together of people who I thought might end up with the Everton job, and I was thinking Big Sam would probably be on that list after the job that he did. I thought Duncan Ferguson, Rooney, I think they're your obvious candidates. I actually thought Ole Gunnar Solskjaer would find his way on that list. I'm really intrigued as to what's going to happen with Tommy Tuchel. I don't think he would go there. Pochettino, and I'm 50-50 about whether he'd go to Everton or not. I think he likes the Premier League, but probably sees himself as bigger than that. And I'm not 100% sure he is, but where do those two go? And where does Zidane go? Like Zidane, Pochettino, Tuchel, 3 massive managerial names. Where are they going to go? Do you think one of them's waiting for Spurs? I can't see Zidane at Spurs. I could see Pochettino going back. And I might see Tuchel there. Where are they going? Dyche feels like a better fit, to be honest. Paul says, Vegas exceptional on the offensive pivot bonuses. He presses and defends really well. Scott says, ask Joe Smith about cold syndrome thing. He's got it. He's got everything. Everton have nothing to offer a top manager. Oh, they're getting a new stadium, no? Worked for Spurs for a bit. Poch for Chelsea when Potter fails. Do you think that's the one? Simeone. What about Simeone? Zidane, maybe Italy. I could see Zidane at Juventus. Obviously, he was a big player for them, wasn't he? So I could definitely see Zidane going back there at some point. Country I would most love to visit for a trip or a safari. I want to go South America very, very badly. I think I should be Argentinian, to be honest. Look at the way they treat football. They're all about steaks. The weather looks good. Yeah, I wouldn't mind a bit of Argentina. Ollie would be a good short-term appointment. Get people upbeat, playing a counter-attacking game for a few months. Ralph says, Solskjaer more than good enough for a mid-table job, but the media have ruined his reputation. People forget, he finished second and third. You show me another manager that's out of work that's done that. You fucking won't get one. Righty then. I'm going to wrap it up, but cheers everybody for tuning in. As always, if you're a patron, you've not asked a question yet, go and check it out on Patreon. Get your questions in. We're doing XG with the lads tomorrow. And before you know it, we're into the weekend in the FA Cup. See you in a bit. Hey, thank you for watching the video. If you are new around these parts, then don't forget to subscribe. My channel is proudly supported by my community on Patreon. If you'd like to get a little bit of extra content, a Discord group, meetups, five-a-side games, weekly podcasts, behind the scenes, and even an occasional bit of transfer news as and when I get it, then for the price of a pint, you can show your appreciation for the content that we make and get some goodies for doing so as well. Check the link in the description or click the button right here. You'll also find all of my socials here too if you want to follow me on any of those platforms. Nice one.